Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how to make this boat. It's the boat that we've been designing. Yours might be a wee bit different from mine, but most of the steps are the same, especially up to about this stage. Your sizes might be a wee bit different, but I'll talk about that when I get to it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to File, New, Metric, standardmm.ipt. I'm going to start off with a 2D sketch. I'm going to click on this XZ plane. And I'm going to use the rectangle tool. I'm going to go down to 2-point center. And this allows me to draw it with the crosshairs right in the middle. I'm going to just click. I'm going to go to dimension. I'm going to dimension this to 50 by 50. Now your size might be a wee bit different. But just change that, and as we go, you can make changes. I'll show you how to make changes at the end. So I'm going to draw the front of the boat, and I'm going to just use the line tool. I'm going to make sure it snaps to the top corner there. And since we've done the 2-point center rectangle, we've got this line to snap onto that's directly in the middle. Now we can draw another line up to the end of the boat. Now we're going to dimension. We're not going to dimension the length of the line, but the tip of the line to this part of the boat. And I'm going to move it just to get out of the way. I'm going to make that 50 as well. So you might have some different sizes there. If you put in 50, you can still go in and you can change it later on. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to finish my sketch. I'm going to scroll out with my mouse wheel, and then I'm going to go to Extrude. Need to make sure you select both parts, and we're going to make this 15. I'm then going to start a sketch. I'm going to start drawing the exhaust. And since we've used the 2-point center, I'm just going to use the center there. I'm going to type in 15. So rather than clicking and then using my dimension tool, if I just don't click the second time and I type in 15, I can dimension it that way. I'm going to extrude. I'm going to make this 5. Start a new sketch, and we're going to make the part that the balloon is going to go onto. So this circle is just going to be a wee bit bigger. So there, I accidentally just clicked in the wrong spot. It didn't quite snap. So I'm going to click escape. I'm going to try that again. Click. Same thing. I'm not going to click the second time. I'm just going to type in 25 and then click enter. Finish my sketch. Extrude. This time we're going to do 3. Next part is probably the hardest part, but it's pretty simple once you do it a few times, so feel free to come back and watch this a few times. So I'm going to start my 2D sketch on the top here. I'm going to draw the inlet of the exhaust. I'm going to do a rectangle. I'm going to stay on 2-point center, and I'm going to draw a rectangle just about any size. Now it's a wee bit harder to click into these lines that are smaller, so I'm just going to zoom in using my scroll wheel. I'm going to click on my line, and I'm going to make this 2. Click on my line, make this 2. Finish sketch. And I'm going to extrude this. But this time I'm not going to use the regular extrude where it says join. I'm going to actually cut. So I could click cut, or I can just simply drag it and it moves it to cut for me, and I can type in 20 there. You can come to the side as well. It shouldn't be going all the way through the object. If it is going all the way through the object, you've put in a size wrong somewhere. I'm going to click OK. And now to do the back part, I could start a sketch and I could try and get in the middle. But what we can do instead, to make sure we can see everything, I'm going to go to Visual Styles. So I went to View, Visual Styles. I'm going to go to Wireframe. There's a few different options for Wireframe. I'm going to go to Wireframe. And I'm going to start a sketch on the back here. So since we can now see inside the object, if I go to the regular 2-point rectangle, I can now draw in the out of my exhaust here. I'm going to go to dimension. I'm going to just change the height of this. You could do this any size. The different size that you do will depend how fast the air comes out. I'm going to just do 1. I'm going to finish my sketch. So now I've got a wee rectangle on the back. We now just need to extrude it and subtract it again. Instead of typing in a size, I'm going to actually go to 2 next. This will allow for if I'd make any changes later on, it will move it with it. So 2 next, and it should join right up to the end. And since we're in wireframe, we can actually see that that has worked. So if I was to change any sizes, so as I said, you can change sizes at the end. So if you just went with my sizes and you want to change them now, you can go to your modeling tree, you can click the wee drop down arrow and you can double click onto any of these. So if I change this to 70 and this to 30 and finish sketch, everything updates. And since we went to 2 next, the exhaust also updates. So that's just by going to the modeling tree, going over to the side, clicking the drop down and double clicking on anything you want to change. So if you want to change the height of your extrude, you can do that as well. Anything you want is all in your modeling tree. Now the next part has really been up to you. So I'm going to go to view and realistic with shaded with edges, sorry. And I'm going to put in a wee area to do if you need to put in any weights. So I'm going to go to start 2D sketch and I'm going to use project geometry. Now this draws in the object, so rather than me drawing the shape again, I'm going to actually click. You'll see that it turns yellow, and if I go to offset, this will duplicate this shape, and if I just put it in towards and type in 2, just like when we were doing the circle, I can then extrude this inside part. I'm going to do cut, and I'm going to maybe put it down 3. Then there's loads of tools here like the chamfer and the fillet tool where you can play about with different things. So if you want to add some curves to your bolt, you can type in different sizes and it'll add round edges. But what I've done is I have used the chamfer tool in my design and I'm going to, this just adds in an edge. By default it does it at 45, but if you want to change that, it's a wee bit trickier where you need to click the face and then the edge. And then you can type in a different angle. So 60 will make it a wee bit more slanted and maybe a bigger size. And then click apply. And then you can do the same. It will save it for all the other parts. If you do too big a size, it will come up with different error messages. So you can do that all the way around as well if you want. Then you probably want to put in some text. So if I start a 2D sketch, click on the top face. If you do it on the side, the 3D printer won't actually print it out properly. It can, but it just depends. It's a wee bit tricky. So I went to the text tool up the top left there, and I'm going to type in balloon boat. You can put in whatever you want, and it'll change the text. I'll give you a wee preview. You can even do things like center justify it. Finish my sketch. It won't actually do anything if you leave it like that, so you need to extrude it. You could have it coming out the boat, or you could do a cut. I'm just going to do 0.5. And that's about it. You can then change the colour and stuff as well if you want, but that won't affect it later on. So that's about it. Just remember, you can always go back and change any of your sizes. And yeah, good luck.